Alright, I think we're back. Let me just double check. Yeah, looks like we're back. So I guess the issue was when I started OBS, it was hugging the video card, so LM Studio couldn't really access our video card, and that's why it can't load um, some of the models that could use or offload some of the processing to the video card. That's sorted out now, so we can return here, and then so again, what we're gonna be trying to do here is we want to create a route and then a controller, simple route and a controller, and then um, we want the AI to update the API route here, and then create the controller file here. Let's make it simple for now to return on the status code of 200, and then um, let's to configure this. Okay, so we have an MCP here. This is my MCP for um, allowing the LLM to access the local file system to create, update, and read files and directories. Can uncheck the enable approval required. So for example, if it wants to do some changes, normally it would ask for permissions. We can uncheck that, but yeah, can make you feel nervous because whatever the LLM decides to do, it can just do those changes automatically without this check. So I guess let's just leave it check for now. Again, okay, so let's try. So we want the AI to create a new route, which is the get API payments, and then to create also the appropriate controller to partner with that route. We didn't specify the name. Hopefully the AI is smart enough to extrapolate the proper name for the controller based on the URL. So hopefully it would be payment controller, and then we did tell it to only have one method, which is index, and that this index only returns a status code of 200. So let's try. So it's thinking now. Let's check in LM Studio that it did. Yep, so it did get the request. Let's try to stream the response now. It's thinking, right? And then okay, that's colorful. So this is our resources now. Yeah, so we're pretty much we're not taxing the machine, or I mean the PC. I mean this is actually workstation laptop, the GPU too seems to be um, seems to be reaching 100%. We are using the full 4 GB um, video RAM, and then both the uh, dedicated GPU and then uh, the NVIDIA GPU is being stressed right now, probably from OBS and Realm Studio. Some of the processing, although, is being uploaded to the CPU because yeah, this is a pretty weak GPU to handle all the computations for the LLM. So with the LM Studio, it does upload some of the computations to the CPU. So as you can see with our, I guess with our 12 cores, we are hitting an 80% usage. Currently we are hitting a still mild 60 degrees Celsius on the temperature, but we are using a workstation cooler as well to partner with the laptop. Okay, so it is still thinking. This is the initial response that it's streamed to create a new route. So it's describing the prompt that we gave it earlier, and now it's gonna be trying to think through it. Sometimes the LLM could sometimes misses that it has an MCP and it has tools available to it, so it would think of the solution, but it won't proceed to actually creating or using the file system tools. So since I am just using this in my workstation laptop, yeah, it's pretty slow. But I mean, depending on your machine, you have one of the newer video cards like with a lot of video RAM, like RTX 4070, and then the RTX 5080 or 90 above. I think yeah, your performance would definitely be better. Your experience would definitely be better than what you're seeing right now. But I think, well, at least in my opinion, local LLMs are like the future of LLMs. I think, yeah, that it not being centralized and for all the other concerns like privacy and stuff, not only on a personal point of view but as well as in a business point of view, local LLMs could be the future of using these language models. Especially, I hope the hardware vendors will be able to create better hardware that can support LLMs. So you might see processors or maybe add-on cards in the future that specifically is just used for LLMs. Much like you'd buy a dedicated video card so that you'd be able to play games better. But yeah, I think like the architecture for mathematically processing LLM computations in the video card can be better improved if that hardware is just like dedicated for LLM computations. So as we can see that the LLM is trying to reason out our um, planet's actions. The one thing that catches my eye here is um, it didn't it didn't mention our MCP tools that allows it to um, access our file system. So let me just open Postman. Okay. Um, so with Postman, one of the new functionalities of this is you can connect to your MCP server. So we do have a local MCP server. We are using Hyper MCP with the file system plugin. Um, so if we connect here to our MCP server, so we'll call up the MCP server here. It will list out the tools that is available from the MCP server. So as you can see, um, from FS file and multiple files, write, edit, create. So these mostly are file system operations. The plugin in also HyperMCP is written in Rust. It is compiled first, then and then it can be run. It is configured to only access our um, project directory, which would be this. So yeah, so I was just getting a bit nervous because the LLM hasn't mentioned any of these tools here. Let's take a look back. So it's saying create the controller. It's saying the contents of the controller. So let's see if it will ask for permission to create the actual file. Yeah, okay, so um, this is one thing that I caught. Normally with Laravel, the controller names are not plural, so they're singular. But yeah, this is something that needs to be changed after it's created. This case, can expand it a bit more. So we did ask it that it will only return a status code of 200. Given as an API, it's returning a blank JSON since we didn't specify um, the body, what it should be. Okay. So I guess right now it's just the LLM is just planning the contents or the updates to the files. Yeah, so I give the LLM some credits here. Um, it saw that we previously used another controller here, um, and the usage is here we define um, the use of the app HTTP controllers only, not the actual controller class, um, so that when we are referencing the class, we don't need to um, we don't need to add each and every controller here in the route. Um, so somewhat shortens all the controller classes referencing that we will do in the routes. Okay, so looks like it finished thinking on the contents of the controller and the route API file. So now, yeah, it's planning to write those contents. Hopefully, it sees the tools from the MCP server. Okay, let's say a good sign of saying the FS. It should be um, dash right, underscore right, 5, yeah. Okay, good. So right now, I'm just expecting a pop-up window um, for the DevoxxGenie asking permission for it to execute the fs write file for the controller file. And then I'm expecting to see a new controller payment controller file here in the controllers uh, folder. okay. It's definitely maxing our CPU. We're at a average, I guess, 77% usage with the 12 cores. Currently we're at still at 64 degrees Celsius, so yeah, I won't need to turn up the laptop cooler for this one. Alright, so this is the pop-up window that's for DevoxxGenie asking us permission to execute one of the tool. So this is the tool and this is the argument. The tool that. So since it's got approval, you should see um, the new payment controller file here once it's created. And here it is. And yeah. I mean, there's no new line there, or new block, so formatting it's still needs some adjustments as well as for the class name and the file name. But yeah, the LLM was able to pretty much understand the requests from our prompt. Afterwards, we should see some changes here in the API. Should add the route for the payment controller. So as we saw from the pop-up earlier asking for the permission, it did use the fswrite file tool. As you can see here, it is expecting two parameters, the content and the path. So the path would be like where where the file would be created, and then the content would be like the content of the file. So here I was testing the hyper MCP MCP server previously, and making sure that the FS tool was working. So we should see another pop-up here. So it did see the fs edit file tool here, so that's a good sign. It knows the tools to use. So yeah, so it does know the request to pass to the MCP server. We're just waiting for it to ask us the permission for it to proceed. so let's approve. And yeah, there's the new route. Okay, so I guess we achieved our goal here, testing the local LLM with the local MCP server to be able to create and update files, and then the LLM to understand our prompt requests and then generate the appropriate codes. We did see some um, rooms for improvement, like Laravel controllers do not have are singular, not plural, as well as it could have um, added some new lines here. Let's do this now. Search for references. And then let's go back to the API. Open properly. Alright. So yeah, that's all for now. The next step I would like to test would be to create um, specification documentations for the endpoint, not as a prompt. So I as a prompt I would more like um, do something like this. Um, Create the routes in the route spec with the with controllers. So something like this. We don't need to specify in the request in the prompt the details for the um, for the LLM. We could create the specifications for that, and that's why it's prepared here. We have a documentations folder here, under which we have development. I did create a Laravel here, Laravel folder here with the Laravel documentation pulled from their GitHub, because we also want to test using RAG with the LLM, see see the interaction, and how the LLM would behave um, with RAG locally as well included. So yeah, that would be the next video most probably, if I get back to this testings or experiments on my end, because I do need to check and follow up on some of my other studies, but all is good for now. That's it. Hope everyone would have a great rest of their day.